Hey everyone, today we're diving into unveiling the secret lives of Hollywood's gay legends, those lesser-known but incredibly inspiring stories. If you already knew or were surprised by anyone in this video, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0 so I know. Don't forget to enjoy the video and hit that subscribe button to support me and not miss out on more exciting content coming your way. Let's get started. As a gay man, in an era when homosexuality was heavily stigmatized, especially in the entertainment industry, James Mitchell chose to keep his sexuality private. Although he never publicly acknowledged it, his relationship with costume designer Albert Wolski was one of the longest-lasting and most respected love stories in the industry. Wolski, known for his work on films like All That Jazz and The Verdict, was a prominent figure in costume design and shared a relationship with Mitchell that spanned 39 years. Their enduring partnership stood as a quiet testament to their love and commitment in a time when such relationships were often forced into the shadows. The two met in the early 1960s, and their relationship, though never publicly acknowledged, became a central part of James Mitchell's life. While Mitchell remained private about his sexuality during his lifetime, those who worked with him on set or were close friends were aware of the relationship. Colleagues and friends remembered him as a warm, generous person, deeply dedicated to his craft and loyal to those he loved. His partnership with Albert Wolski was a quiet yet profound aspect of his life, reflecting the depth of his character and the values he held dear. James Mitchell's decision to keep his personal life private was not uncommon during a time when being openly gay in Hollywood or on television could pose significant career risks. For many actors like Mitchell, the social climate of the era demanded discretion to safeguard their careers, as coming out was often viewed as a barrier to landing leading or romantic roles, especially in mainstream productions. Mitchell's choice not to discuss his personal life did not stem from shame, but from a desire to navigate the constraints of the time. His silence reflected the societal reluctance of that period to accept LGBTQ+ identities in the public sphere. By staying private, Mitchell adapted to the demands of his era while quietly maintaining his integrity and his relationships, embodying the resilience required to balance personal authenticity with professional ambition in a restrictive environment. In an era when Hollywood strictly enforced public image standards and any deviation from heterosexual norms was deemed scandalous, George Nader's sexuality became the subject of much speculation. The rumors were fueled by his close friendships with other male actors, most notably Rock Hudson, one of the most iconic stars of the 1950s and 1960s. While the friendship between Nader and Hudson was never publicly acknowledged as anything more than platonic, their closeness led many to draw their own conclusions, adding to the intrigue surrounding both actors' personal lives. In a Hollywood that demanded strict adherence to carefully crafted public images, relationships between two male stars were often viewed with suspicion. Despite facing rumors and speculation, George Nader never publicly disclosed his sexuality during his Hollywood career. The powerful studio system and its public relations teams ensured that actors strictly conformed to their constructed personas. Any deviation from this image, such as revealing a gay identity, could potentially destroy an actor's career. For Nader, maintaining his career meant keeping his private life out of the spotlight, navigating a system where conformity to heteronormative ideals was not just expected, but enforced. In the early 1970s, after more than a decade of steady work in Hollywood, George Nader chose to step away from acting. He transitioned to a quieter life, focusing on his passion for writing and living out of the public eye. During this time, Nader fully embraced his true identity, choosing to live openly with his longtime partner, Mark Miller. The couple shared a loving and committed relationship that lasted over 55 years, becoming a symbol of enduring love during an era when same-sex relationships were rarely acknowledged, let alone celebrated. Their bond stood as a quiet but powerful testament to authenticity and resilience in the face of societal challenges. For decades, Dick Sargent kept his sexuality private, much like many actors of his time. Hollywood during that era was a place where coming out as gay was often seen as career suicide. The entertainment industry was dominated by a culture of silence regarding LGBTQ+ issues, and celebrities with different sexual orientations faced significant professional risks. Although there were persistent rumors about Sargent's personal life, he largely avoided tabloid scrutiny and maintained a public-facing career without addressing or confirming speculations about his sexuality. His discretion reflected the challenges of navigating an industry and society that demanded conformity while suppressing personal authenticity. However, in the early 1990s, Dick Sargent began to feel it was necessary to live authentically and use his platform to support causes he cared about. In 1991, he made the courageous decision to publicly come out as gay in an interview with People magazine, openly declaring his sexuality. This marked a significant turning point as it occurred during a time when coming out as LGBTQ+ was still rare in Hollywood, and many actors feared such a revelation could jeopardize their careers. Sargent's decision to embrace his truth and advocate for greater acceptance was a bold move that paved the way for increased visibility and representation in the industry. For Dick Sargent, coming out was a liberating moment. He explained that he had lived much of his life under the weight of secrecy, and publicly embracing his sexuality was a way to take control of his own narrative. Sargent's decision also signaled a broader shift in the entertainment industry. While he was not the first actor to come out as gay, his choice was groundbreaking for a well-known television star, especially during a time when LGBTQ+ representation and acceptance in Hollywood were still evolving. His courage helped challenge stereotypes and open the door for more open conversations about sexuality in the public sphere. In addition to coming out, Dick Sargent became an active advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, particularly focusing on raising awareness about HIV/AIDS. In the early 1990s, the HIV/AIDS epidemic was devastating communities worldwide, and Sargent used his newfound platform to speak out about the crisis. He participated in numerous fundraising campaigns and worked with organizations supporting people living with HIV/AIDS. This activism was deeply personal for Sargent, as he had witnessed the epidemic's impact on the gay community and was determined to help bring attention to the issue. His efforts highlighted the importance of compassion, education, and advocacy during a critical time in the fight against HIV/AIDS, and reflected his commitment to using his voice to make a difference. During an era when gender roles and sexual norms were rigidly defined, Tony Randall's love for opera theater and fine dining, paired with his refusal to conform to the traditionally masculine image often expected of male stars, led some to speculate about his sexuality. Randall was also an outspoken supporter of the arts and a frequent guest on talk shows where his sharp wit and uninhibited humor often took center stage. Despite persistent rumors, Randall was married to his first wife, Florence Gibbs, for 50 years until her death in 1992. The couple, who met when Randall was just 19, shared a strong and enduring bond. Florence's passing marked a profound turning point in Randall's life, both personally and publicly, as he navigated life without his lifelong partner and faced a shifting landscape of personal relationships and public scrutiny. In 1995, Randall surprised everyone by remarrying, this time to Heather Harlan, a woman 50 years his junior. This marriage, which defied societal expectations and drew much criticism, led to the birth of two children, Julia and Jefferson. Randall's second marriage changed public perceptions of him at a time when many believed he would live out his days as a widower. In interviews, Randall dismissed doubts about his relationship with Heather, emphasizing their love and happiness. However, rumors about his sexual orientation persisted throughout his career. These whispers were largely rooted in stereotypes rather than evidence reflecting society's tendency to associate certain traits or behaviors with specific sexual orientations. Randall addressed these speculations directly over the years, often using humor to deflect intrusive questions. He once remarked, "I don't understand why people are so interested in my private life. It's called private for a reason." His refusal to be boxed into fixed categories, coupled with his commitment to living authentically on his own terms, made him both an admirable and intriguing figure. Although widely recognized as a brilliant artist, John Gielgud lived in an era when homosexuality was illegal in England and often viewed as a moral failing. Within the close-knit world of theater, his sexuality was an open secret, but outside of this circle, he was extremely cautious in guarding his private life. This careful balance allowed him to navigate a society that was often hostile to his truth while continuing to excel in his craft. This caution did not shield John Gielgud from the perils of living as a gay man during that era. In 1953, at the age of 49, he was arrested for importuning for immoral purposes, a common charge used to entrap gay men. The arrest occurred in Chelsea, London, after Gielgud was discovered approaching a man in a public restroom, a tragic consequence of the oppressive laws of the time. This incident highlighted the risks and vulnerabilities faced by LGBTQ+ individuals in a society that criminalized their existence. The scandal threatened to destroy John Gielgud's illustrious career. News of the arrest spread quickly, and in the conservative British society of the 1950s, many feared it would mark the end of his professional life. Gielgud himself was deeply shaken by the incident and reportedly considered withdrawing entirely from the stage. However, his colleagues and fans offered surprising support. Instead of being ostracized, the theater community and the public demonstrated an unexpected level of forgiveness. Gielgud continued working, and his reputation as an extraordinary artist remained largely intact, a testament to his enduring talent and the loyalty of his supporters. Jack Cassidy's good looks, charm, and stage presence made him a familiar star in Hollywood and on Broadway during the 1950s and 1960s. However, his personal life was far removed from the glamorous image he projected to the public, marked by tumultuous relationships, struggles with substance abuse, and persistent rumors about his sexuality. These complexities added layers to Cassidy's enigmatic persona, contrasting sharply with the polished image he portrayed on stage and screen. Jack Cassidy's marriage to actress Shirley Jones in 1956 was one of Hollywood's most high-profile unions at the time. The couple had 3 children, including actor David Cassidy, who later rose to fame as a member of the Partridge Family, a television series in which Shirley also starred. Their family appeared to embody the ideal American household, but behind the scenes, Cassidy's personal struggles began to surface. His charm and talent were often overshadowed by inner turmoil, which would later affect both his career and family life. While still married to Shirley Jones, rumors about Jack Cassidy's sexuality began to circulate. With his striking good looks and undeniable charm, Cassidy was speculated to have relationships with both men and women, sparking rumors that he might be bisexual. These whispers were especially prevalent within Hollywood circles, where his relationships with men, though never openly discussed, were frequently the subject of gossip among colleagues. These speculations added to the intrigue surrounding Cassidy's personal life, further contrasting with the image of the ideal family man he portrayed in the public eye. Despite facing these rumors, Jack Cassidy never publicly addressed them and maintained the image of a heterosexual man in the eyes of the public. He carefully guarded his private life to avoid potential harm to his career. However, those who worked with or knew him were aware of his relationships with men, which were an open secret among those close to him. This duality between his public persona and private reality added another layer of complexity to his life and legacy. At the same time, Jack Cassidy struggled with alcoholism, which took a significant toll on both his career and family life. Reports of erratic behavior and personal turmoil became increasingly frequent. The combination of substance abuse and the pressures of living a double life appeared to contribute to Cassidy's decline, both personally and professionally. His marriage to Shirley Jones, once one of Hollywood's most beloved unions, grew increasingly strained and ultimately ended in divorce in 1975 after nearly 2 decades together. This marked a turning point in Cassidy's life as the challenges he faced continued to escalate. Jack Cassidy's personal life and career continued to unravel, and by the time of his death in 1976, he had become a tragic figure of Hollywood. Cassidy was found dead in a Los Angeles apartment fire at the age of 49 under mysterious circumstances. While some attributed the fire to an accident, others speculated that Cassidy's struggles with alcoholism and his fragile mental state may have played a role in the tragedy. His death added another layer of complexity to his legacy, leaving behind a career marked by brilliance but overshadowed by personal battles and unresolved mysteries. Now, I really want to know, among the stories or stars we just talked about, who surprised you the most. Leave their name and the reason why you like them in the comments below. I love reading your thoughts and finding out who your most inspiring legends are. If you know any other lesser-known stories or stars, don't hesitate to share. Let's keep this conversation lively and build an amazing, supportive community here together. Cesar Romero's bachelor status and reluctance to marry became a defining aspect of his public persona. Though he was linked to several prominent female stars such as Joan Crawford and Carmen Miranda, his relationships were often characterized more by friendship than romantic love. The press, always eager to craft stories about Hollywood's most eligible bachelors, frequently speculated about his love life. Romero played along with these narratives, often using his charm and humor to deflect questions about marriage. Behind the scenes, however, persistent rumors suggested that Romero was gay. While he never publicly confirmed his sexual orientation, a decision likely influenced by the deeply conservative attitudes of mid-20th century America, many in Hollywood believed these rumors to be true. His discretion allowed him to navigate a complex social landscape while maintaining his successful career and beloved public image. Cesar Romero's ability to keep his private life discreet in an era when stars were under constant scrutiny was a testament to his carefulness and the loyalty of those around him. Unlike some of his contemporaries, he avoided scandals or invasive tabloid stories that could have jeopardized his career. His refusal to discuss his personal life did not diminish his standing in Hollywood. On the contrary, his friendly demeanor, sharp sense of humor, and dedication to his craft endeared him to colleagues and fans alike. Romero often joked about his bachelorhood, once quipping, "I've never married because I like steak and I like it cooked my way." Such remarks, while humorous, reinforced his image as a man content with his independence. This charm and lighthearted approach allowed him to maintain his status as a beloved Hollywood figure while skillfully sidestepping the pressures of public curiosity. Liberace's public persona was meticulously crafted to appeal to a mainstream audience during a time when homosexuality was heavily stigmatized and could devastate a career. He built the image of a heterosexual man through interactions with the press and his fans, frequently discussing his love for women. He even contributed to articles like "Mature Women Are Best." Television's top pianist reveals the kind of woman he'd like to marry, in which he outlined his standards for a future wife. These calculated statements reinforced his carefully constructed image and helped him maintain his status as a beloved family entertainer. However, Liberace's private life told a different story. He had romantic relationships with men, most notably with his longtime partner, Scott Thorson. Thorson, who was 40 years younger than Liberace, entered his life in the late 1970s and became not only his romantic partner, but also an essential part of Liberace's public image. The two often appeared together on tours and at events. Their relationship was tumultuous and eventually ended in a famous lawsuit in which Thorson sued Liberace for emotional and financial damages. The lawsuit attracted significant media attention, bringing Liberace's private life into the spotlight. Despite media scrutiny, Liberace steadfastly denied being gay, dismissing rumors as baseless attacks from tabloid sources. His denial of his sexuality was not only a personal choice, but also a reflection of the societal pressures of the time. In the deeply conservative entertainment industry of the mid-20th century, admitting to being gay was unthinkable, especially for someone like Liberace, whose brand relied heavily on the adoration of middle-class American audiences. Instead, Liberace used lawsuits and public statements to fiercely defend his image. In a famous 1959 case, he successfully sued the British tabloid Daily Mirror for insinuating he was gay, famously remarking afterward, "I cried all the way to the bank." This approach exemplified his determination to maintain his carefully curated public persona while navigating the challenges of living as a closeted gay man in a judgmental era. Despite his public denials, Liberace's sexuality was an open secret within Hollywood circles. His flamboyant style, dramatic sense of humor, and close relationships with men fueled ongoing rumors. However, his immense talent and charisma overshadowed the gossip. Fans adored him not only for his musical brilliance, but also for his unapologetic embrace of extravagance and theatricality, which made him a trailblazer in the entertainment industry. Liberace's ability to captivate audiences with his larger-than-life persona ensured his enduring appeal. Even as whispers about his private life persisted. In the mid-20th century, actors considered friendly to the LGBTQ+ community often had to keep their personal lives hidden. Roddy McDowall never married, and while he never openly discussed his sexuality, it was widely known within Hollywood circles. His close friendships with members of the LGBTQ+ community were often regarded as an open secret. Many close friends and colleagues in the industry were aware of McDowall's sexual orientation, but he chose to keep his personal life private to avoid the scrutiny that might have come with being openly out. One of the most notable aspects of Roddy McDowall's personal life was his long-standing and close friendships with individuals in the LGBTQ+ community, such as Elizabeth Taylor and Montgomery Clift, both of whom were known for their private lives and complex relationships with their own identities. McDowall's professionalism and kind nature earned him respect and admiration from those around him. Those who knew him often spoke of the charm, intelligence, and sincerity he brought both on and off screen. Geer's life was far richer and more complex than the iconic roles he portrayed on screen. Behind the camera, Geer was a multifaceted individual, an actor, an activist, and a person whose personal life defied the conventions of his era. His relationships, political commitments, and quiet bravery in facing a world often hostile to his truths all contributed to the enduring legacy of Geer. In the 1930s, Geer had a romantic relationship with Harry Hay, who would later become a pioneering figure in the gay rights movement. Hay, the co-founder of the Mattachine Society, dedicated his life to advocating for the rights and recognition of the LGBTQ+ community. Their relationship was not only one of love, but also a bond rooted in shared values and a mutual passion for social justice and activism. However, societal pressures of the time, along with Geer's desire for a family, led to the end of his relationship with Harry Hay. Geer later married actress and activist Herta Ware. Together, they built a family and shared a deep connection founded on progressive ideals and a mutual love for the arts. Their marriage brought them 3 children and lasted until their divorce in 1954. Despite their separation, Geer and Ware remained close throughout their lives, and Ware was always understanding and supportive of Geer's sexual orientation. Her compassion and support created a rare, safe space in a judgmental era, exemplifying the enduring strength of their relationship. Geer's activism extended beyond his personal life and into his public work and career. He was an active member of the Communist Party during a time when such affiliations were highly perilous, particularly in the entertainment industry. His political commitment reflected a profound belief in equality and social justice, and he used his platform to advocate for workers' rights, civil rights, and other progressive causes. Geer's unwavering dedication to these ideals showcased his courage and determination to fight for a better, fairer world, despite the personal and professional risks involved. Rudolph Valentino, a cultural icon of the 1920s, captured the hearts of millions as one of the most glamorous stars of the silent film era. Known as the Latin lover, Valentino epitomized romance and passion on screen, with his roles in classics like The Sheik and Blood and Sand. His striking look, smoldering gaze, and undeniable charisma turned him into an international phenomenon. However, behind Rudolph Valentino's cinematic allure lay a private life rife with controversy and speculation, particularly surrounding his sexuality. Valentino's first marriage to actress Jean Acker was short-lived and ended in turmoil on their wedding night. According to reports, Acker locked Valentino out of their hotel room, leaving him humiliated and alone. The marriage was quickly annulled, sparking questions about the nature of their relationship and fueling rumors about Valentino's sexuality. Acker later identified as a lesbian and had a long-term relationship with another woman. Her marriage to Valentino remains a focal point in discussions about his personal life, adding layers of intrigue to his enigmatic persona. Valentino's second marriage to costume designer and actress Natasha Rambova was equally tumultuous. Their passionate but troubled relationship ended after a few years, with Rambova citing incompatibility and career conflicts as reasons for their split. The dissolution of both marriages, combined with Valentino's close relationships with male colleagues, further fueled speculation about his sexuality, keeping the mystery of his private life alive in the public imagination. Although biographers of Valentino, such as Emily Leader and Alan Ellenberger, generally agree that he was likely heterosexual, rumors about his sexuality have persisted, fueled by the cultural and societal norms of the era. The 1920s were characterized by strict gender roles and conservative attitudes toward sexuality. Valentino's polished appearance, gentle demeanor, and sophisticated style challenged conventional norms of masculinity, making him a target of speculation and criticism that reflected the anxieties of his time. He was often ridiculed in the press, with some articles mockingly referring to him by the derogatory nickname Pink Powder Puff. These criticisms deeply hurt Valentino, prompting him to publicly defend his masculinity. In a famous incident, he even challenged a journalist to a boxing match to prove his manliness. However, the event failed to silence the rumors and criticism, leaving Valentino still grappling with the public's relentless scrutiny. During an era when coming out as gay could ruin a career, especially in the Hollywood of the 1960s, George Maharis chose to keep his sexual orientation a secret. In a time when stars were expected to adhere to heteronormative standards, any deviation from these expectations could lead to a swift and dramatic decline in their career. Like many actors of his time, Maharis kept his personal identity private, fully aware of the risks associated with publicly acknowledging his sexuality. For Maharis, this meant maintaining a heterosexual image, despite persistent rumors about his sexual orientation. However, in 1967, his carefully constructed public persona was shattered when he was arrested for lewd conduct in a public restroom in Los Angeles. The incident involved Maharis being caught engaging in sexual activity with another man, which became a widely reported scandal in the press. At a time when homosexuality was criminalized in many states, the arrest dealt a heavy blow to his career. Although Maharis never publicly admitted it, the incident exposed the truth about his sexual orientation to the public, forcing him to face media scrutiny and the consequences of his arrest. The scandal caused significant damage, and Maharis was subsequently written out of Route 66 during its third season. His departure was attributed to health issues, a convenient excuse that allowed him to exit without further scandal. The impact of the arrest and the ensuing media storm was immediate and profound. Maharis's career, which had been on an upward trajectory, began to stall. In a time when homosexuality was heavily stigmatized, the scandal not only tarnished his image, but also closed many doors to future opportunities. Although he continued to work in television and film, his roles became increasingly scarce, and his fame faded compared to the heights he had once reached. Although Paul Lynde never publicly disclosed his sexual orientation, his personal life was believed to be quite complex. He lived in an era when society imposed strict expectations regarding masculinity and gender expression, and his flamboyant and somewhat effeminate demeanor only fueled speculation about his sexuality. However, rather than coming out, Lynde chose to keep his private life closely guarded, a decision likely influenced by the career risks associated with being openly LGBTQ+ in an industry often unforgiving to those who deviated from the norm. Behind the scenes, Lynde faced another challenge deeply tied to the pressure of concealing his true self: alcohol addiction. He struggled with alcoholism for much of his life. Many believe that the need to hide his identity, combined with the stress of maintaining a public image that didn't align with his personal reality, contributed significantly to his substance abuse. Lynde's addiction to alcohol not only took a toll on his personal life, but also impacted his career. Despite his immense popularity on Hollywood squares and other television appearances, his drinking led to erratic behavior, and he was often regarded as difficult to work with on set. These challenges ultimately caused Lynde to miss out on numerous opportunities and led to personal turmoil stalling his comedy career in his later years. While his struggles with alcohol were widely known, his sexual orientation remained a closely guarded secret. It wasn't until his death in 1982 that more details about his personal life began to emerge. At the time of his passing, Lynde was mourned as one of the most brilliant comedic talents of his generation. Yet there was also a profound sadness in the recognition that he had never fully embraced his true self, either on screen or in life. His legacy is a complex narrative marked by extraordinary performance artistry and an inability to reconcile his personal identity with the public demands of Hollywood. He passed away at the age of 55 from complications related to a heart attack, leaving behind a poignant reflection on the darker side of fame and the lifelong inner struggles he faced, particularly the concealed truth of his sexual orientation. Thank you all for watching the entire video and joining me on this journey to uncover the lesser-known stories of Hollywood's legends. If you found this video interesting and meaningful, don't forget to hit like, share with your friends, and especially subscribe to the channel to support me. I really look forward to reading your comments and stories. Let's build a community full of respect, love, and inspiration together. See you in the next video. Always stay confident and true to yourself.